I'm Mariette, and this video is all about the look. That is also the first section of my book, Free the Hidden Speaker Inside. And I was fortunate to interview personal stylist and color consultant Claire Matthews for my book. And guess what? She's here with us today. We're visiting her in her studio. Claire, it's great to have you with us. Welcome.
Oh, hello. Lovely to be with you, Mariette, today. I can't wait to share some of my tips with you.
Thanks. And we want the men, the boys, to stay tuned because we have some valuable information for them also.
Absolutely. We don't leave our men behind.
Definitely. Right, Claire, let's begin by you telling us, in your opinion, what is the look?
I wouldn't say there's one particular look. The look has to be right for you. So it is vitally important that your clothes feel like they belong to you. Style is really about the inside out, not the outside in.
What do you mean by that?
Well, we get very lost with high street fashions and trends and following what friends are doing or what we see on a mannequin. All of these things lead us to buy certain things. And of course, if you're, it's a bargain, it's in the sale, we're going to grab it, aren't we? But we get it home and it feels like a stranger on us. It doesn't feel like it connects. And what happens to that item? It stays in the wardrobe. So it is complete fact that we only wear 15% of our wardrobe 85% of the time. The same clothes come out. And why do they come out? Because they feel right on our body and they connect with our personality. So when you're very led by what others are doing or what the high street fashion is doing, it all gets muddled up. So it's not one size fits all. It needs to belong to you.
Claire, that's not so easy. I can understand that we must avoid having strangers in our cupboard. But how do we prevent that? How do we find out what suits us best?
So that's where I come in. So we completely and utterly simplify the process. So what we do is we drill it down for you as a client. So I will look at your objectives for your wardrobe. So it could be that you're very business focused at the moment. It could be that you've retired and you've actually stepped out of work in life and you feel very lost because you're not wearing, smart clothes anymore. So you've gone into things that need to be a bit more smart, casual, with that sort of casual element to them. So it's basically looking at your lifestyle and the objectives around your wardrobe, first of all. Once I understand that, I then begin to understand a little bit more about you as a person. Then I can move you on to, okay, so we've got that detail now. So let's look at your body shape. Let's look at what am I dealing with? Am I dealing with straight lines? Am I dealing with curves? Am I dealing with very strong, sharp angles? I have to take all of that into consideration to think about how I'm going to bring that to the surface on the outside. And then once I've done all of that, I'm then looking at your personality because I'm thinking, who is this person? I don't know them. They're a stranger to me. So let's bring that to life. That person underneath all of these layers of life that we all take on has been hidden. So let's bring it to the surface and make the magic happen. And let those strangers go. We need to get rid of the strangers in the wardrobe.
You are so right. That's exactly what I want to achieve when I work with a new client. And I know that hidden speaker, and in your case, the hidden personality, is there somewhere under all those layers of pretense and issues we are dealing with in life. Tell us, how do you go about to free that hidden style personality?
This is within me, obviously. So I started my own colour and style journey, it was 11 years ago now. So I worked in the city as a PA for a boutique headhunting agency. And I got sent off on an away day. It was a team thing, and my boss at the time thought, this is a fabulous idea. I've had it done myself, and it's very, very important for us to look after ourselves in this way. So image is obviously personal, but it's also how we give our message to the world. So we got sent off, and I was, really excited about it. And first of all was the colour. So the colour really showed me what happens to your skin. I mean, your skin can look completely sallow. You can gain weight around your jawline. You can look very sickly and very dark under the eyes. And you can almost disappear. So when you're in the wrong tones, it can actually make you go into the background. So really understanding that for me was key to understanding how I could bring that forward in my wardrobe, and actually how much better I felt. My mood went from here to up here. It was remarkable, absolutely remarkable. So I thought that this is wonderful. I absolutely love it. So the first thing I'm going to do is embrace the colour. But of course, colour is one thing, but then we have to work on bringing our own style and personality into that. So then the second section of what we did on that away day was the style. And I actually realised how much I need femininity in my clothes. I'd gone into the city and I'd fallen into this very corporate category, which was very plain and very understated, and wasn't showing any of my personality at all. So once I understood that I needed to start reflecting that on the outside, and I started to shop that way, it was exciting. It was so exciting. I couldn't wait to shop, whereas actually it was a bit more of a function before that. It was, that's job done. I've got 2 new jackets and 2 new pairs of trousers. But now I actually go, oh, I'm actually in love with that item. And for men, it needs to be the same too. Men don't get the forum that women get around fashion. They do work in a very black and white world, and they do like the practical element of what we do. But the experience I've had with men when I take them shopping is phenomenal, because actually they are really interested in clothes and they want to feel good themselves. And just by pointing out that little bit of education around, pick a flower in your tie instead of a stripe, or pick a spot instead of a flower, and then little bits of detail that brings them to life and shows their personality. Whether they choose a curve on the buckle of their belt opposed to a very sharp straight line, whether they need texture in their suits. There's all these things that come to the surface, and once they understand it, of course, the rest is history. You need to do no more. It literally is rinse and repeat. And you just do your nod to the trend in your way each season. You just keep with the framework.
You said something about colour that really intrigues me. Do you know naturally what colour suits you? Or how does one find out which colour is best for you?
So the way it works in a colour class is that you come, and I work in natural daylight. You cannot do this over a computer. It isn't possible. So I have to see your skin in natural daylight and how it's responding. So for women, that's with no makeup. I need to see your skin completely flawless. And I'll show you some drapes here that I've got to my side. My colour wheel is behind me. And the way the colour wheel works is it's split into 2. So the top half of the wheel is what we call our yellow-based colours, and the bottom half of the wheel is what we call our blue-based colours. And this will come from was dated back to the early 19th century. And it was dated back to a Swiss artist called Johannes Itten. And he actually started to look into why particular artists were using particular tones of paint. And he was picking up a repetitive pattern, and he could see that they were holding the palettes of paint in their hand and they were mixing their paints here. And he thought there was some sort of reflection going on. And he could see that they were continuing to use the same tones, but he didn't really understand why. So he spoke to his doctor friend, and his doctor friend said, yes, absolutely, you do have something here. And it's all to do with the fact that we have blue and yellow fat cells that lay beneath the surface. So the moment you put colour up against your skin, that's what comes forward. So until you walk through my door and I see you sitting in natural daylight, I don't know what's going to happen until I start to do that. So you might know yourself, and I'm sure lots of other people know this too, that there's certain colours that they may connect with already. So they'll be thinking, actually, I feel really nice in this today. And it's because it's working for you. So look out for those, look out for the tones that are working for you. It's vital to your mood and your well-being and how your skin looks. You don't want to look sallow and you don't want to look grey. We want to look the best version of ourselves, don't we? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Of course we do. So we've got the colour stand is here, and on my colour stand there is 144 drapes, and they're all in different seasons. So I will first look at whether your skin needs a blue base or a yellow base. How is your skin performing, and where does it look at its best? Once I've established that and I'm very happy, then I look at what tones suit you, because some people need a soft and blended tone and some people need a more clear, crisp and bright. I'm a bright person. I belong in the winter section, so everything I do is very important for me to have a definite colour to what I'm doing. Whereas you, Mariette, you're a summer, so you need that softer blend. Really important to keep that, and we discovered that in your colour class, didn't we?
May I interrupt you here, Claire? That blue or yellow undertone, are you born with it? And does it remain in your skin for the rest of your life? Or does it change when you grow older or when you get, for example, a tan in the sun? Does it ever change, or is your skin tone with you throughout your lifetime?
It's in your skin forever. You were born to be the person that you are. So it's the only time I believe that there's a possible chance of it changing is if you have had extreme medical treatment such as chemotherapy, which can actually change the function of the skin. I did have a lady way back when I first started, and she was actually a summer, and then she came to see me and had severe chemotherapy treatment, and her skin had actually darkened so much that the summer colours were not quite strong enough for her. They were actually washing her out. So I had to look at moving her into the winter section, and she went away delighted because she was able to give herself a new lease of life.
There's so much to talk about. I could be here with you for the rest of the day. But let's move on to style personalities. What do you mean when you say style personality?
So a style personality is really about your yin and your yang, so your masculine and your feminine. And we all have different levels of that. So when you come to see me, we work on 20 questions together, and you tell me about the person that you are. And within that information, it gives me the masculine side of you and the feminine side of you. And then I understand what to honour for you. And that will come out in terms of your necklines, your body shape, your patterns, your fabrics, whether you're choosing flowers or spots or straight lines or texture or V-necks or curved necks. You know, there's so much to that, but you don't have to worry because I'm doing that job for you. So I literally sit there and find the information out from you, and then I just deliver it back to you and say, this is what you need to do. These are the things you need to look for.
And now the $1 million question. Claire, not all of us are in a position to consult a personal stylist. Maybe not everyone can afford it. What would be your best advice, your top tips for improving our appearance?
First of all, I would say it is actually more reachable than you believe it is. I think sometimes the word, you know, having your own personal stylist feels quite an expensive thing. But actually, when you look at it and how much money you waste on clothes that don't suit you, you could actually afford the service quite quickly if you wasn't doing that. So I would say definitely start with paying attention to what you're buying. That's the first thing. Think about me sitting on your shoulder when you're next in online shopping, especially at the moment with the lockdown. You know, think about, is this actually the right purchase for me? Think about your face shape and your body shape. We need to honour that. We need to think about, are we dealing with curves? Are we dealing with straight lines? What are my clothes saying about that? Has it got a curve to it? Has it got a straight line to it? Think about mimicking your worlds. Try to start bringing that together. Think about your mood when you put that item on. You will know if it belongs to you. You will definitely know that it belongs to you. You will feel happy. You will smile. If you smile, it is meant for you.
Very good point.
Yeah, because otherwise, what are we doing? We're adjusting things and we're trying to tuck them in and we're pulling them out again and we're trying to make them work. It shouldn't feel that hard. If it feels that hard, I would send it back. So definitely start paying attention to what you're doing, because quite often we don't. When it comes to clothes, it can be a very practical thing that we fall into, but then we lose ourselves.
Yes, I agree wholeheartedly. I've experienced it many, many, many times that you buy something and it lands in your cupboard and you maybe wear it once or twice and it just ends up gathering dust. It's awful, but it happens.
Absolutely. And obviously pay attention, especially with these Zoom meetings now, pay attention to a point of interest. You definitely need to think about adding something that will make a point of interest. And for ladies, that can be obviously our lipstick, and our jewellery will be a point of interest. So to think about the detail of what you're adding. A scarf, but obviously don't make it that it's too cluttered. You want it to be quite neat on camera. Think about the colour, how it's reflecting, not too much pattern, especially on Zoom. It can get a little bit busy and can be distracting for the person on the other end. So just be aware of those things for sure. But you will know, if you pay attention to your clothes, you will know, but they should be fun. Please go and have fun in your wardrobe, because sometimes it's very daunting. It can be a daunting thing, and there's lots of reasons why that might be, depending upon what's going on in somebody's personal life. But just play, try to put some outfits together and pay attention and let that confidence and self-esteem come to the surface, because that's really what this is all about.
So many people, especially now that we're communicating online and from our bedrooms, our homes, we tend to become so informal. Guys wear shorts and maybe a little t-shirt.
Yes, I've heard that one too.
I know. Why is it so important to look good when we meet with people?
Well, it's a sign of respect, first of all. It's a sign of respect for ourselves, first and foremost. That's where we start. You know, our own oxygen mask has to go on first before we're able to serve others. And I believe if you put your best foot forward, it is key to what we receive back into our lives and how we're able to serve the world we live in. So by starting with you and putting your appearance together, whatever way that's going to be, is very respectful to you and others. It also gives a very authentic message. So if you do it in the right way, it's showing your personality. And really, that's what people connect with. They need to understand who you are. If you're in a wishy-washy space of no style one way or the other, no colour one way or the other, on the outside, nobody actually knows who they're dealing with. It can give mixed messages.
That was Claire Matthews. Claire, thank you so much. I could chat to you for another 2 hours, but unfortunately we don't have the time. And that's then all from me, Mariette. Until next time, goodbye.
Post your questions on LinkedIn to Mariette Richardson or email them to mariette@myvoiceuk.com and include a photo. Or ask your question in person in a short video clip. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel to see more tips and say goodbye to performance uncertainty.